Anastasia Fisher. I go to RA Long, and I will be giving my testimony. So, I accepted Jesus into my heart at the age of 5. In other words, I grew up in the church. It was VBS, and my dad was leading the prayer. He told us to come down if we wanted to accept Jesus into our hearts. Me being the daddy's girl that I am, was like, okay, so if I pray, I get to go hang out with my dad. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. I was 5. I had no idea what any of this meant. All I knew was that my parents took me to church every single week, and so therefore, if they love him, I must love God too. Now, I was a curious child, and as I grew up, I learned as much as I could from the church, from my friends, from my family. When I was in middle school, I had a little bit better understanding. I had been to Sunday school every week, I was going to youth group, and I thought Jesus was pretty sweet. So I got baptized. I was at church camp, and the youth pastor asked if any of us wanted to do it. I thought about it, talked it over, and decided that it sounded like a pretty good idea. Now, we were in the woods. There was no beach with a nice, warmish lake. There was a creek that moved very fast, and it was very cold. Those of us that were getting baptized hadn't quite put 2 and 2 together. So when we got to the creek to get baptized, no one stood up to go first. No one really wanted to go first because it was really cold. So I decided to go first, finally. Yeah, that was the worst decision of my life. Not the getting baptized part, that was great. Afterwards though, because after I got out of the water, I was drenched from head to toe. It was cold out, and now I had to wait for everyone else to get baptized. Now, at this point in my life, I thought I knew everything, but I definitely did not. And as I went into high school, I experienced high school and all the drama that it has to offer. I went between a few churches, made new friends, and for the most part, when I needed him, I truly felt like God was there. I drifted away a few times. Something would happen in my life that wouldn't make sense. And instead of just asking God and Jesus about it, I would rely on my own feelings and thoughts. I would rely on my own understanding. I can honestly say that during those times when I wasn't close to God, I felt empty and alone. I felt lonely like Wayne was talking about. A few months ago, as I was awaiting the acceptance letter to the school of my dreams, I drifted away. I drifted very far away. Everyone was telling me to just trust in God, and that if God wanted me to be there, I'd get in. But that wasn't what I wanted to hear. I really wanted to believe that if my grades were good enough, and if my test scores were good enough, I'd get in. And I couldn't rely on God for that. That was really hard for me. And I was a huge mess. I was miserable. Because I had pushed him away. And then one day, the acceptance letter finally came, and I had gone into my dream school, the University of Washington. But I still felt empty. Like I was happy, yet at the same time, I was crying, and again, just a huge mess. It took me a few weeks to realize that what I was missing was God. And when I realized that I was missing him, I prayed, and I asked him in my heart, and he embraced me with open arms. And I can say that my life is a lot better now. Now, I can't tell you about my life before Christ, because it didn't really exist. I was in church when I was 5 days old. I literally grew up in the church. But I can tell you that when I was closer to him in my walk, my life was much better and much more enjoyable. Thank you.